Dark Souls 3. The best game with the words Dark, Souls and 3 in the title, bar none. You guys seemed to really enjoy it when I showed you how to beat Bloodborne completely normally. So, I figured it was about time to leave Elden Ring to fester in a pool of its own 20-hit combo one-shot AoE juices and return to my second favourite Soulsborne game for a completely unsuspicious and normal playthrough of... screw it, you know how this one goes. Can you beat Dark Souls 3 normally? Rules? No thanks. What do you think this is? My only stipulation is to beat the game and to do it completely normally. Should be easy enough, so sit back, unwind and enjoy. But first, a word from our sponsors, Meet Norma. Norma likes nothing more than a couple of pints and a smoke down the Firelink Arms on a Friday night. But she's also quite partial to a little bit of the old stabby pokey rolly. So here we are, I guess. Night as starter class because I am a creature of the night and also a filthy casual. Random starter gift because being able to play this game is enough of a gift. Thank you, based Miyazaki. And it was time to raise my reanimated corpse from the dirt in order to go and kill some bosses. Basically, an average Monday morning at work. The Cemetery of Ash is the tutorial area of the game, and you can take your time here to learn the basics, like how to hit things, how to backstab, how to plunge attack, and, most importantly, how to cheese the sweaty pants off everything. Cheers, lad. After grabbing the Titanite shard and the firebombs from the area, it was time to face off against the first boss, Latex Gandalf. I plucked the sword from his torso, instantly regretted my life decisions, and went and played Stardew Valley instead. Oh, you wanted more DS3? Fine. Luckily, the Knight class starts with one of the best weapons in the game. That's right, the Knight Shield. Come here, Spandex Gumball. SpaceX Ganondorf breathed his last breathe, I looted the outskirts of Firelink for homeward bones and embers, helped this guy to get a little bit closer to his ancestors, and entered Firelink Shrine to meet my waifu. Hello, Andre. Oh, and this lady's okay too, I guess. Highwall is where the real Dark Souls 3 begins. So, let me show you the main things I usually head for in this area. A couple of packs of sparkling blade sauce. Some bloodstone smithing shards, 1. An Estus flask shard, just so you can call me Shardy B. Grey Rat cell key. The scarf Granny Emma was knitting, and ye old reliable, the broadsword, which would be my main weapon of choice for this playthrough, because it's short and simple, just like me. You can simply avoid a lot of the enemies in this area, but if you do need to fight, then stick to the basics. Like Norma here, who can't land a parry to save her life. Oh, for God's sake, woman, you're not even facing the right way. Useless. With that out of the way, it was time to free my best buddy Grey Rat. I sent him back to Firelink, unlocked him as a vendor, and bought a bastard sword off him for reasons. Time for the next boss, the fearsome ice pooch Vordt. But wait. Now, if you watched my Bloodborne Normally run, then you'll know that FromSoft just love to hide little mini-games in their titles. And DS3 is no different. This one's a little tricky to access, but if you enter the secret cheat codes in this order, you can play the thrilling minigame Boss? What boss? Here's how.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen!
With Vordt still very much alive, but also a distant memory, this is where the game starts to open up. So it was time for me to get down to business. And since this is a totally normal run, this pathing is pretty much what I do every time. So here goes. I dropped in to say hi to some friends, told Yol to stop being so damn miserable, worked through the undead settlement making sure to pick up the Estus shard on the way, and died to the most fearsome enemy of them all. Gravity. Wouldn't be Dark Souls otherwise. Cornix ghosted me, I hitched a ride in the cage to join Hodrick's weird sex cult, used my telekinetic abilities to make an enemy levitate, pushed onwards to the Road of Sacrifices to grab Morn's Ring and the Braille Tome of Kareem, where I also discovered, after around 1,000 hours of play of this game, that this dog has a grab attack. Excuse me, what the fuck? I reached the halfway fortress, met Cirrus who swiped left on me, made a new friend, and hooked up with everyone's favourite NPC Sigurd to slay a fire demon and drink booze. We're getting there, don't worry. Flynn's Ring and the Chloranthy Ring are both in this area and can be extremely useful for a variety of builds. Next, I headed to Dilapidated Bridge to grab an undead bone shard and some ashes, and to stare lovingly into Hodrick's eyes until he fell for me. Still a better love story than Marika marrying herself. I levelled up, bought the key to Free Arena, finally found some good fucking fashion, gave Arena the Braille Tome, and bought the Saint's Ring because it's cheap, so why not? Oh my god, I can't believe it! It's legendary reggae artist Horace Andy. So hyped to meet you. There are plenty of good items to grab in this area, including some coal for Andre, a pyromancy tome, the weed shield, and the sage ring, as well as more shards. The two NPCs in Hazel shouldn't be an issue if you use the power of ladders. Fuck it, good enough. And I proceeded through Farron Keep to pick up even more smithing runes while putting out the fires en route. A quick tip for navigating this area if you find it confusing: just follow the trail of stuff that's on fire. A dagger with quickstep also helps. I also headed up to the old Wolf's bonfire to grab a couple of large Titanites, let my giant friend have his fun to get the lingering Dragon Crest ring, got rejected by Orbeck for being too damn stupid, bought Tears of Denial from Arena, and I was in the mood for another boss. Hello, excuse me, I was told there was a boss around here, could you possibly direct me? No? Okay, I guess it's this way. You mind?
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper.
Oh well, 3 levels at least. If you think that looked annoying, trust me, that was nothing. Sorry, where was I? Oh, yeah, church, 'cause I need Jesus. All I found instead was Hobo Santa, who showed me his bacteria collection. Oh well, you only live once. But Baron, aren't you a little bit low level for this DLC? Well, yes, which is why I hot-footed it past all the carnage to meet Frida, parkoured down the branches to firebomb a tree, picked up the Titanite slab, avoided the wolves and the knights to grab the Millwood great bow, headed up the tower for the captain's ashes, and returned to Firelink to hand them into the handmaiden to unlock her stock of Millwood arrows. Forget Santa's grotto for now, it was time to take on a boss I was definitely not too low level for. Hi, Bootiful. The Dancer is a tricky boss to handle, but you can negate a lot of her harder attacks with a ranged option. So, I grabbed some more Twinkling Titanites from behind Firelink Shrine and the Cathedral, plus 3'd the Millwood Greatbow, and I was ready for action. As I said before, range helps in this fight. The further, the better. About here should be far enough. Yeah, tough boss. After a cheeky level up, I made myself a nice bowl of throat broth, and it was time to go and hunt for rocks like the neighbourhood crackhead. Navigating the consumed King's Garden to pick up the chunks there was pretty straightforward with a smartly placed skull or two, after which I bullied my way through the castle to the Dragon Barracks for even more chunks, as well as some Titanite scales. Took on the ultimate Souls enemies, a pair of feet for more nice free stuff, and made sure to grab 3 important items for later. The Red Tearstone Ring, the Strength Ring, and the Sunlight Straight Sword, which you can easily obtain from this mimic with a Hunter Charm. By now, I'd levelled my intelligence up just enough to not be quite such an illiterate troglodyte. So, before I forgot, I returned to the woods to tickle a couple of crabs and bring Orbeck home to shower him in gifts and buy up his inventory. Whilst in Firelink, I also picked up the Force Miracle from Arena, which only requires 12 faith to use and can come in very handy when dealing with some of the more annoying bellends in this game. Like Mr. Spoopy Voice here. Ah! Get off my land! Bob Ross showed me how to paint a happy little tree, I ran through Winter Shitland to pick up the Earthseeker axe, and it was time to take 'em to church. I picked my way carefully through the cathedral, pausing only to pick up Lloyd's sword ring, which gives a handy buff to damage when at full health. After which, I scooched past the giant and headed up to show Patches the force of my power. Or the power of my force. Okay, well, this is awkward. Hold up, coming down. Come on, big guy, do your thing. Yep, this is still awkward. Right, one last try. Get in the fucking hole. Thanks. I returned the onion armour to my absolute bestest friend Sigurd and proceeded onwards to the Deacons. Now, the Deacons are an extremely hard boss, and you can tell this because there are lots of them, and the more of a boss there is, the harder it is. Simple mathematics, really. Luckily, I brought protection. Now, everybody jump! Now that I'd stolen a child's toy from a priest, I was ready for some anime. And it doesn't get much more anime than these edgy edgelords. Careful you don't cut yourself on all that edge, pal. Nobody out-edges me though, so I made my own suitably anime entrance, instantly felt a wave of shame wash over me, went and had a long cold shower, and returned to boss the boss. Let's go! One Lord of Cinder down, 3 to go. I was making pretty terrible time so far, so I picked up the pace through the bone zone and definitely didn't waste any time seeing what would happen if this crab killed me. Nothing happened, I just died. Sorig discovered a brand new shortcut to Smouldering Lake. I headed down the ladder for a fun game of Mimic vs Fire Demon. Oh. Okay, I'm out of here. From there, I progressed into Smouldering Lake to gather all the large Titanites in the area, teach Horace that it's rude to grunt at people, let the ballista take out the worm, and return to Firelink Shrine to spend the shards and chunks I'd accumulated on upgrading my sword. Nearly time for the best view in the game, but first I had some farming to do. Ugh. Halfway fortress, back up the hill, whack this guy, profit. I said, whack this guy, profit. I said...
One eternity later.
Well, that was 30 minutes well spent just to beat the hardest boss of the game completely normally. Hush, Lord Walnut, don't speak loud. Norma's gonna give you a poison cloud. And if that poison cloud kills you, then oops, my bad, what you gonna do? Shh. There it is, the money shot. Also, an angry furry crocodile. Apply spicy lube, stand here and lock on, and give it the old 1-2 on the nose to trigger a riposte. Yeah, pooch, prey on these nuts. Okay, here's how you defeat all the enemies in Irithyll. Why no, Anri? I haven't seen Horace anywhere. I headed down to light up the distant manor bonfire, caught up with my BFFFFFF, Sigurd, sprinted past everything else to get the shortcut open, and moved onwards to the dungeon. Hi Alva. Bye Alva. This place is kinda annoying, but if you have either the cat ring or the spook spell, which you can buy from Orbeck, there's a way to skip a sizable chunk of it. Just walk down this wall here, stand here at this angle, cast spook if you need to, and do a forward roll. So long, suckers. With the profaned capital bonfire lit, I could now take my time to backtrack and explore. This man suffered an unfortunate wind-related accident. I took on the hand babies for no reason at all, except to show that you can instantly trigger a riposte by hitting them when they raise up, which is immensely satisfying. Gave the last of my scrolls to Orbeck, bought everything else I wanted, and promptly deleted him from my friends list because a pretty lady asked me to. For you, my queen. Giving Uriah Orbek's ashes rewards you with the Moron Blade, which is perfect for a moron like me, and also gives a damage boost at low health when equipped, which stacks with Red Tearstone. Excellent. Who needs HP anyway? With a new friend slot freed up, I snatched up the Jailer's keyring to find myself an average-sized tiddy goth girlfriend. And it was time for me to pay another visit to my amazing super special best friend Sigurd. Ah, shit. Finger slipped? Oh well, anyway, who wants some free Titanite slabs? Yes, this should just about cover the mental anguish I suffered from the unfortunate death of my friend. After seducing Carla with a pristine copy of the Sandman graphic novels collection, it was time for my first respec of the run. So I went to give Rosaria some tongue. Ew. My main aim was to hit 30 int in order to be able to cast Pestilent Mist, which you can purchase from Orbek after giving him any scroll. I miss that guy. I wonder what happened to him. Anyway, who cares when there's an anorexic dragon that smashes an invisible baby around to deal with? Osiris loves to spam Pestilent Mist everywhere, but two can play at that game. Just cast and wait for him to walk into it like a dum-dum until he freaks out and hits phase 2. Then, just bait out his charges until he ends up in this spot behind this tree. Run to the other side and cast away to your heart's content.
No, who's a good little stupid dragon? It's you.
I made sure to pick up Path of the Dragon and hit the Untended Graves bonfire, but for now I had other paths to take, for I had to avenge the death of my favourite pal Sigurd. He will be missed! By slaying the mighty Yorm the Giant. Fun fact you might not know that I'll throw in here. The fireballs in the profane capital here are actually attracted to alluring skulls. How completely not useful. Thanks. I was nervous about facing the big lad, so I checked online and it said there's a special weapon I can find in this area to defeat Yorm. Ah, this must be it. It's Yormin time!
Yorm the Giant, he's big and bad and deadly. Yorm the Giant, he has a huge machete. That's not a euphemism, he'll use it with precision. So you just gotta learn to dodge and get into the rhythm as you slash, slash, slash at his ankles and his hands. And you poke, stab, stab, so much damage, this is grand. But just hit him till he staggers and then stick him with your dagger, and that big old giant crashes down to land. Yes, you hit him till he staggers, then you stick him with your dagger, and that big old giant crashes down to land.
Ah. And again. Ah. My spiritual awakening had taken me to the windy vistas of Archdragon Peak, a treasure trove of valuable upgrade materials. Gotta be careful around here though, nothing but snakes, hon. And this guy. Are you meant to be a boss? I double checked the most reliable thing in the world, the internet, which confirmed that I could easily kill this boss with a single plunge attack. This looks like the right spot. Yep, definitely the right spot. I quickly check myself out. Looking hot, girl. And dash through the rest of the peak to get the one item I was really here for, the Dragon Chaser's Ashes, which unlock the ability to purchase twinkling titanite, chunks, and scales from the shrine's madam. Whilst I was in this area, I decided to remove the other wyvern from the equation with a dose of the white stuff. Sadly, it was the game that removed me from the equation by glitching me into a wall and killing me. That wasn't in the script. Second time's the charm, I guess. I had everything I wanted from the peak now, so it was time to return to the untended graves to, tend to them? Champion Gundyr is everything that Udex isn't. Namely, a boss that I can't beat to death from outside the fog wall with a shield. Oh well, here's how to hyper mode him like the little bish he is. But this you will need. A leveled up fire dagger. Chaos is also fine.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
A parry tool. The red tear stone ring. A Morium blade in one of your offhand slots. An appropriately low HP pool, which you can get by just dropping off a ledge somewhere. And the Sunlight Straight Sword, which requires 16 faith to use. Nothing here that requires sequence breaking to acquire, so here's how to put the angry baby back to sleep. Sorry, Grey Rat. Kinda forgot about you there, pal. After my amazing exploits so far, Cirrus had changed her tune and took me on a hot date to Irithyll Bridge to Scott Pilgrim it out with her ex-boyfriend. By now, I was almost missing Elden Ring, so I guess it's spamming Swarm of Flies time. Wow, GG Cirrus, we make a great tea... Huh. Fine, don't look at me then, I'm used to it. You might have noticed there's a fairly important boss I've skipped over so far. Mainly because I had no real reason to kill it, but also because it is, of course, the hardest boss in the game. Sorry, Deacons. Here's how to make tree balls a little easier though. Wake him up, skulls to distract the mobs, a well-placed great bow shot to the nuts, and retreat to the fog gate before the floor falls. Then, it's just a simple matter of lining up, throwing a firebomb, and... Just line up, throw another bomb, and... Yep. We could be here for a while.
We were, in fact, here for a while.
See? Much easier than fighting him normally. Please kill me now. All our lives we're told to conform. Society tries to tell us what to eat, how to dress, who to date, when to shit, what gender stereotypes to conform to, and, what weapon arts should go with what weapons. Well, I say, fuck that. Be yourself and be proud. Even if that involves breathing fire and shooting a spear from your head at the same time. I wanted to show off my new trick to someone, and Dragon Slayer armor seemed as good a candidate as any. Mate, can you just, like, hold still for a second, though? Please? Pretty please? Okay, that's better. Yo, check this out, dude. Welp. Guess I just have to hitless him now instead, just to have something vaguely interesting to show here. It kinda went like this. Easy job. Now let's party! PvP is the lifeblood of Dark Souls 3 and keeps its rancid little heart pumping even to this day. So, it was only right that Norma had her share of the action as well. So, here's my handy guide on how to PvP successfully. Step 1. Firstly, you will need a friend. If, like me, this is a little too much to ask for, you can find one on Fiverr. Step 2. Go to the profaned capital to summon your friend for a duel. Step 3. Realise that your friend accidentally got their account banned. So, wait for them to create an entirely new one and run a brand new character through the game. Step 4. Summon your friend and get accustomed to the sweet release of death by taking turns killing yourselves jumping off a ledge. Step 5. Miraculously both make it onto the ledge at the same time and celebrate by letting your friend punch you in the dick so hard with his big yellow arrow that you transcend the very plane of existence itself and become one with the fabric of the universe. Step 6. Run.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life.
Dear Ethildogs.
You ruined my night completely so you could have the money, but I hope now you spend it on getting some lessons in grace and decorum, because you have all the grace of a reversing dump truck without any tyres on.
And we're done. Let's PvP. Okay, I'm bored now. Time for you to leave, Pontiff. Bye! With my build looking like even more of a hot mess than prison canteen chili, I dumped some levels in, said hi to Yorshka with the pointy end, played a game of Fortnite, that's Fortnite, skewered Oscar the Grouch in his fuzzy face, got invited to my own wedding, said see you later alligator, and in a while crocodile to get the fat ring, took my reward from the Archdeacon, and I was ready to get married. Man, a good wedding just makes me tear up. How was it for you, babes? On my first playthrough of this game, the boss that gave me the most trouble wasn't Nameless, or Dancer, or Champ. It was this sluggy arrow spamming arsehole. Of course, I didn't know about Valve's silence back then. Hey, Aldrich! Shut the hell up. Once the dead lady had finished chewing my ear off, I could finally proceed up through the Grand Archives. I say this like I was looking forward to it or something. There are lots of tasty things to find in this section of the game, including plenty of chunks and other upgrade mats, the Scholar's Ring, Power Within, a Titanite slab, just in case you don't already have 20 weighing down your pockets, and, suicidal gargoyles? I ignored the NPC threesome and headed up to the roof to pick up the final Estus Shard and the Hunter's Ring. The rooftops are, of course, defended by 3 fearsome enemies, and killing them nets you another Titanite slab. Or you could just rapport them and watch them kill each other. GG, my guy. I unlocked the shortcut elevator, returned home to level myself and my weapon up, and it was time for the twinses. I'm just gonna stand here quietly. Shh.
All right, crew, let's get to work.
With the last of the Lord Cinders in my grasp, I could practically taste the end of the run. It tasted like a mix of salt and sweat, in case you were wondering. I decided it was time for some any other business first, So I went to help out Cirrus again by murdering her gramps. Man, this chick has issues. I should probably ask her for her number. Next, I scattered the ashes of my victims, Ludloth checked out my latest mixtape, Melina set fire to the Erd Tree, and I found myself teleported to the kiln of the first flame. I wasn't in the mood to finish the game just yet though, so I decided to go on a day trip to the Dreg Heap. No hanging around here, I didn't really need anything from the start of this area, so I made a straight shot for the second bonfire. From here, just in case you weren't aware, there's a shortcut straight to the boss fight. Just run out here, dodging the angel, drop off onto this branch, cat ring helps, but you won't die without it, take out the angel, head all the way up the branch, and you can drop straight down to the next bonfire, avoiding the swamp altogether. Not that you'd necessarily want to, since there are some nice items here, including an upgrade to the Fat Ring and the least horny outfit in the game. Have fun! The Demon Prince is one of my favourite fights in the game, and since this is a normal run, I decided to use a completely normal weapon. Hello! We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Sir? Hello? Ah, perfect. Time to spin the Wheel of Fortune. One down, 3 to go. But to reach them, I would have to navigate the ringed city itself, which is not the most welcoming of places. Here's a quick guide on how to fight everything in the ringed city. Don't. I cleared midair from the bridge using my usual strat of baiting out the forward fire breath, punishing, retreating to the corner behind the rock to avoid the next attack, and repeating until he gets sleepy. Aw, poor thing. He's had a long day. Fuck Half-Light. Yeah, hello, is that tech support? Yeah, I think I broke the world? All jokes about the deacons aside, Slave Knight Gale is a genuinely difficult boss, and is generally regarded as one of the highlights of FromSoft's roster. So, it seemed only fair that I humiliate him by beating him with his own spell, or at least a version of it obtainable in-game. I made a trip to Rosaria and respec'd into a faith build, optimised my loadout, and... uh-oh. This is literal garbage. See you all in 18 minutes, I guess. So, There I was, at the end of the world, with nothing but my shitty spell and the blood of the Dark Soul, which is probably important because it has the words Dark Soul in it. I also had Gale's soul to transpose, so I figured I may as well give his crossbow a try, and Medea seemed like a good test subject. Okay, let's give this a go. That's not a bad crossbow. The time had come. It was time to say goodbye to Norma and hello to the soul of Norma, because I had a cheap imposter to put to bed. Okay, full disclosure, I thought this would be a fun idea. It wasn't. I was only somewhere in the 80s level-wise at this point, so in order to be able to actually equip and wield everything I wanted to, I needed to spread my stats thinner than the butter in a cheap sandwich, which resulted in everything hitting like soggy spaghetti. And, just like hitting things with soggy spaghetti in real life, the outcome was messy. It couldn't be worse than throwing firebombs at a tree for 5 hours though, so I gathered my resolve, stepped into the ring once more, and prepared myself for the end. It was done. Whoever that guy was now dead, although he looked already pretty dead to begin with. I became the Dark Lord something something. I don't know, I just wanted to get married, alright? And my completely normal journey through Dark Souls 3 was over. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know, like, subscribe, all of the usual, but for now, let's say goodbye to our friends together.